Howdy, y'alls, and welcome back to Anthropology 111. It's me, Dr. Edwards, here to help you with all your cultural anthropology needs. This week, moving on to Module 3, some of our key topics this week include kind of art and culture and the interconnections of these. We largely look at these ideas through the concepts of symbolic anthropology and linguistic anthropology. So that's what we're going to be sinking our teeth into this week. I'd like to start off with saying that symbols are everywhere. Once you learn to look for them, you can't stop seeing them. It's really kind of an intriguing idea, and actually I'd suggest a very productive way to look at the world. You get to see things in a new light. I don't know, I'm just looking around on my desk. Here's a coffee mug that I have. A silly place called Enchanted Forest. Now, you may not have any idea what the Enchanted Forest is, but if you look at this, you probably get the idea that, oh, it's some sort of amusement park or something like that. If I can hold that still for a second. A big rip on Disney, by the way. They're totally plagiarizing Disney. You understand that because we speak a common language, all right? At least English. And that allows you to read those. Well, let's see here, turn. There we go. You can read the actual words and they have meaning to you. You can look at some of the images and be like, oh, that's a dragon. I understand what a dragon is. And, a rip on Chippendale Chipmunk. Symbols are everywhere. Everything is symbolic. All right. I actually challenge you to go out and look at the world like this. Go and look and see. It's not just verbal or written things. Body language, all right? Up to 90% of our language is nonverbal. I love looking at people when they stand in line. It says so much. And this really highlights a key thing. To look at the world as performance, all right? Everyone is performing. We're all performing particular identities and gender roles within our families, within our communities, and in larger society. Looking at things like this really kind of lays things bare. I think it's a very valuable perspective, and I hope you do too. Let's see here. Some of my key things that language itself. Always want to keep in mind that just like culture, all right, language isn't fixed. It changes, it evolves, it shifts, it becomes new. It is never static, all right? It's always changing. I mean, just look at Old English compared to our contemporary English, or differences between, say, in regions. There are other parts of the world that speak English, all right? Even within our own country. We have unique accents that are associated with particular regions. What we call certain things may differ based on those regions. Like, I've lived in places that call a Coca-Cola, all right? They'll call it a soda, they'll call it a pop, they'll call it a fizzy, they'll call it just a cola. Also, a tonic is another one, if I remember right. Yeah, there are all these unique terms that we place meaning in and are communicated through our language. So language is culture, culture is language. I wrote something down that might help kind of get this across a little more. Language is the means by which we convey meaning, all right? And because all meaning is culturally rooted, there's just a fundamental connection between the two. If you speak another language, you have unique cultural insights into the culture or a culture that speaks that other language. For me, I speak a couple of dialects from West Africa. Without those insights, I wouldn't have a clue. And I share some of those personal examples in my announcement and discussion posts. Art is cultural expression. This is a topic I love. Art is very near and dear to my heart. I grew up being an artist of some form, some way. I paid my way through undergrad as a tattoo artist. I've always loved to draw, I love to carve. It's kind of part of who I am. It's part of my personal identity. But art, if you look at it as performance, right? If you look at it as something that's symbolic, it reveals so much. Also, how it's presented to us reveals a whole lot. Like if you take some, I think I use an example of an Aztec headdress, all right? If you see it in its natural habitat, if you would, how it was made and created and how it was supposed to be used by those people, you'll understand it in particular ways. Now, if you remove it and put it in a different context, it'll possibly have completely different meanings for you. Like what if it's on display in a museum, right? In a museum, it comes to represent a whole group of people, right? All you get is this little card that says, Aztec headdress. Okay, it might tell you the date that it was, collected in the general region. But that's about all the information it's going to present. The rest is left to you and how it's being presented. So yeah, I tried to include a unique example about Pablo Picasso. He has a very famous painting called, what was it, Damsel des Avignon. And this image was really unique because he incorporated a couple of Igbo masks on the faces of these women. Now, these women are prostitutes, if I remember right. And this painting, if you dig into the context of it, the time period is early 1900s. This is really kind of the beginning of the colonial consciousness. This is when European colonizers and Westerners are beginning to recognize their impacts around the world. And kind of how those other groups are also interweaving with Western groups, right? Globalization. So yeah, I try to give you some good ideas and examples that you guys can explore further. Moving on, we'll see what else I got. Oh yeah, make sure to always double check due dates and such of the particular modules assignments. I always include that in the written portion of my announcement, so definitely double check that. I try to highlight and color some text so it stands out. I've also included some additional resources, as always. I want you guys to explore these things. This week I think I got... there's one about inked lives. This is somebody's master's thesis. It's really quite good. It's a great example of professional writing or academic writing. So you can also get ideas about tattoos and personal identity and things, how art can be representative and reflective of certain cultural values, in this case, tattoos. And it serves as a great example for, high caliber academic writing. Also got a great debate by Fred Myers. He looks at the notion of primitivism in art. There's been this separation between high art and primitive art. Why do we consider things high art? Because people tended to go and go to a particular school and were trained formally in particular styles and traditions of cultural rooted art. Others aren't necessarily formally organized, but can you really divide a line between this is high art and this is primitive art? I don't like the idea of primitive to begin with, because it tends to suggest people are lesser. That's something we try to avoid in anthropology. Let's see here. I also have a link for manga. Japanese animation. Really cool stuff. Here, this is a particular example where manga has evolved in one particular place and spread around the world and spread its values along with it. I'm an anime lover. Love this stuff. And what I really love about it is when I watch it, I'm like, wow, that is a crazy idea. I don't think about things like that. And that's literally what kind of keeps me coming back and looking for more of it. Oh, yes, this week, drum roll, milestone 1, your first part of it. This is a big one. All right, I've put together a large resource base for you. Go into our discussion board, put a whole announcement with examples, all the rubrics, templates, links to lists of appropriate videos. I've put so much in there. All of it is oriented to help you. Now, I actually thought about doing my own instructional videos about how to do the project, but I found some other instructor that did it, and she does a really amazing job, so I'm just going to reuse hers. Yeah, definitely take the time, check these resources out. They are guaranteed to help you. All right. If you follow the basic format that I give you in there, you're gonna do well, right? So I cannot stress enough that you follow through on those resources. All right, it's gonna make a difference. And of course, if you have particular questions about it, or the project, or anything else, all right, anything that you think I can be helped, that I can help you with, don't you hesitate. All right, I'm just a click away. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this video announcement. I hope you all have a great week, and yeah, I'll check in with you next week. Bye bye.